I'd like to show you a short public service announcement in order to get started.
Elevate your career.
Your business.
Your community.
With the Business Ethics Alliance, we're committed to elevating local businesses through ethics education,
Creating great places to work.
Better experiences for your customers.
And the best Omaha for everyone.
All through positive, practical ethics education. The Business Ethics Alliance.
No business is too small or too big.
The Business Ethics Alliance.
So, Business Ethics Alliance, that's one of the things I do. I'm also a professor at a local university in Omaha, Nebraska. The Business Ethics Alliance has been going for 10 years. So I'm here to kind of tell you the story of how we got started and what we're doing, because what I see is that you're right at the beginning, 10 years ago for us, so to speak. And I see that there's such great opportunity. The movement that you're going to be creating with regards to the individuals that are going to be belonging, the not-for-profits, the for-profits, government institutions. You're going to be standing tall together, and you're going to be sharing shared purpose, shared values, and you're going to say that it all started today in this room and moving forward together. So a little bit of a story about how we got started and where we are 10 years later. You can see this is our cake with our city on top. So I don't know how many of you have been to Nebraska in the United States. We're in the heartland, right around Minnesota, Kansas, etc. And Omaha is the largest city in Nebraska. It's about 50 miles from our capital, which is Lincoln. Many people know Omaha, Nebraska for two reasons in the United States. Number one, Omaha Steaks. It's a company that produces steaks for us to eat because we're, the beef country, beef area of the United States. Another reason people know Nebraska is because of Warren Buffett. Have you ever heard his name? Yeah, he's one of the richest guys in the world, and he happens to live in Omaha, Nebraska. But he's a regular guy. You see him down at the Dairy Queen, etc. Just a really good guy. So, but we had the idea that Omaha should be known for what you're doing, an ethical Omaha. You're doing ethical Reading. And we started that initiative about 10 years ago. We started it with, on a shoestring and with a hope that we would make a difference, just as you are. And we decided to create, shall we say, a four-legged stool. So these four circles represent the four legs of that stool. Our premier university, where I work, Creighton University, is one of the legs of the stool. And then our Chamber of Commerce is a second. The Better Business Bureau, which is a not-for-profit, and they're interested in marketplace trust, they're a third. And then our whole business community, we say, is the fourth leg of the stool. They've organized together, and we organize with them in order to make the Business Ethics Alliance. So we serve the whole community. It's a community initiative. Small, medium, and large, for-profit, not-for-profit, come together on a regular basis in order to have conversations, etc. Our mission is to build leadership, to strengthen organizations, and to elevate Greater Omaha around positive, practical business ethics. One of the ways that we do that is through community programs, like what you're doing here and what Gurpreet was talking about that you're going to be doing throughout this year, 2018, and beyond. So we started with 3 different programs. We just threw them at the wall to see if they would stick, and they did. People were hungry for these kinds of conversations, and that's why you're here too, because you're hungry for these kinds of conversations. You see that we have more programs now 10 years later, because that's what happens. You find different ways to deliver what it is that you want to talk about. I said that we're positive and practical. We have never brought anybody to Omaha, Nebraska, like Martha Stewart or anybody who's been in jail, to tell us why they got into jail, how they crashed and burned, and how they're, trying to make recompense for that. We've decided that we hear enough of that in the media. Instead, what we focus on is the positive. We look at companies like Grant Thornton and ones that are doing it right, and we use them as role models for the rest of us to look up to say, we can do it that way too. And companies like Grant Thornton will say, hey, we're at this level, but we want to get even better. We want to elevate from where we are. And so we look to them, once again, for that kind of role modeling. We bring in people from the national level, from the international level, in order to, once again, show how you can do it right. And so that's one of the reasons, I think, that people like our programs so much. They're not negative, they're positive. Another thing that we do, individuals come to our community programs, and so education happens there. But you know that ethics can't stop with the individual. You need support at the organizational level in order to make it the case that people can do the right thing. There have to be great environments within organizations. And so we go into companies and we help them create their codes of ethics. We help them with their value statements. We do gap analysis. We do those kinds of policies and things that make it the case that organizations have good environments for people to be able to feel like they can speak up when they see something wrong, and they're going to be taken seriously and not retaliated against. So you move from the individual level to the organizational level. That's what you're doing, and that's what we've been doing for the last 10 years. We also have workshops that individuals can go to within organizations. We help them deliver training, shall we say, on ethical decision-making, ethical leadership, ethical communication, blind spots. That's a big one in the United States, where you know that you're good people, but you end up doing crappy, bad things. Why is that the case? So we study psychology and sociology in order to understand why good people do bad things. So at the organizational level, we are creating these kinds of environments for people to do the right thing by having the training that people can go to within the organizations. But you can't stop there, right? You need the individuals to care. You need organizations to say we're going to create great environments. But then organizations need to come together at the community level in order to say we're going to stand together to make this happen. That's where the power is. That's where the strength is. And that's what you're doing here in Reading. So we decided about 8 years ago, in order to really create that kind of that cohesion, that we would identify the core values of the Omaha business community. Just as organizations have core values, we think doing business in Omaha is different than Denver, Seattle, New York, El Paso, etc. So we have identified and articulated our core values, and they are, drum roll please, community responsibility, accountability, financial vitality, integrity, and moral courage. So every program we have, we talk about the core values of Omaha, and we drive the conversation to those core values and say, this is how we want to address sexual harassment in Omaha. This is how we want to understand incentives and the ethics of incentives in Omaha. So we take it from the individual level to the organizational level up to the whole community so that we're in it together, okay? So we are sustainable. Well, we've been going for 10 years, and let's hope we're going to go for another 500. I'd go for 1,000 if we can make that happen. And one of the ways we do it is we've created a group of trustees. They're CEOs, founders, owners, executive directors, because remember we have for-profit and not-for-profit together. And they're our ambassadors. We started with one trustee, one CEO that said, I want to make a difference. So Union Pacific Railroad is in Omaha. That's a Fortune 500. Talked to that guy, and we talked about ethics, and his response was, why wouldn't I do this? This is about ethics. It makes sense in terms of business. So he was one, and then we just kept growing and growing, and now we have 300 trustees, 300 CEOs that have their names on a list that say, yeah, we want to make a bunch of money, but we want to do it with integrity and honor and fair deals. And that's our mantra, and they will go around the community saying, this is what we do in our community, Omaha, Nebraska. So we have testimonials from people. We measure everything that we do. So we find after our programs, people tell us that they love coming to our programs because we have courageous conversations. We have practical conversations. They're progressive. People connect with each other. We're a networking community. So we love coming together and networking and connecting with people who are in different industries, from small, medium, large organizations. And we're positive. That makes a huge difference for our people. We also measure the impact of what we do, not only in terms of testimonials, but we ask organizations, is it the case that caring about ethics as well as profit makes a difference? And we find that it is the case that being ethical can be profitable and can be good for your heart or your soul, so to speak. You can see the different ways that we measure. The one I want to really focus on is breaking the moral isolation. We've been measuring this for 10 years, and we've found over and over again, people say, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm all alone. I'm the only one that really cares about doing business in this way, having a really good organizational structure, working in a company that cares about ethics as well as profit. But then you come together with others in a room like this, and you find that others care in the same way you do. And it just like makes your heart sing. And so the way we measure it is we say, have we broken the moral isolation? Do you feel alone anymore? And time again, the answer is no, I don't feel alone anymore. I'm not morally isolated. I'm with a community that cares about all of this. So Omaha, Nebraska has put a stake in the mud. We have decided that we are going to tell companies if they want to come to Omaha that they need to care about profit, but they need to care about ethics too. And you can see that we have here the Greater Omaha Chamber. Our preferred future is 2040. I think you're all working on a preferred future of 2050, aren't you? Yeah. We have said out loud to businesses that want to come to us, the regional economy is robust and growing with a diverse collection of businesses, all of which recognize ethical practices as drivers of profits. And you see some logos here of companies that are startups or big companies that have come to Omaha saying, yeah, we're going to do business in this way. So to end, I like to say I'm so excited to be here with you today. Ethical Reading. Individuals, you care about ethics, and you recognize that organizations have to care too, but it can't stop there. It has to be a community initiative. That's where the power comes, when you join together, and you can then make huge impact because you have come together to say, we want to do this. So it's all about you. Obviously, you can see that you have great leadership, but you can't have leaders without followers, so to speak. So sit forward in your chair, right? Participate, donate, join the movement. Without you, ethical Reading will not happen. Thanks for letting me share the Omaha story.